My Casper mattress review for the 2018 version. Just going to apologise in advance for my vest. It's 85 degrees in here. I'm working under several hundred watts of video lighting and I can't stop dripping with sweat. So it's better I wear this than just be absolutely dripped in sweat. So sorry for that in advance. So this is the 2018 Casper version, which is different from the 2017 version, and in fact it's more different than I realised when I bought it. So I bought it because I wanted the EU size. I spent most of my time sleeping on the 2017 Casper. I found it the best balance between comfort and support and firmness, even though I use it with a topper, but I could use it without a topper, which I couldn't really use any of the others that I've had long term and be happy. You know, I've spent a couple of weeks happy on, say, the Leesa. But long term wasn't great for my back. I have to keep repeating I have lower back issues, and a lot of these reviews are slanted towards my personal needs. Good back support in the lumbar region as a back and side sleeper. It also needs to be shoulder friendly. I also have shoulder issues. You know, a lot of it is my own doing. However, that's where I am. But although a lot of it is my personal taste, I do tell you the relative differences between all of the mattresses that I have been trying and will continue to try, which I hope is helpful to people, even if you don't have the same preference as me. Don't forget, the heavier you are, the softer a mattress will feel. The lighter you are, the firmer a mattress will feel. The same mattress relative to different people. So I'm not expecting much difference between the 2017 version and 2018 version. I knew it came with zoning at the shoulder. It was interesting because most of them have zoning all along, so you get zoned, so your hips sink in even more in the middle and then even more at the shoulders, and then they can say, well, it's 7 zones and it's not really 7. But however, the point being, quite often it seems to be they zone it so that they can say it's zoned. It's only altering very subtly the amount they give in a certain area. So it doesn't make it better because there's more give. It may make it worse. However, it's got to suit you. But this was interesting because it was only zoned at the shoulder, and you know, my 2017 Casper was a little bit on the firm side for my personal preference. However, it did sit in the middle of the firm and the softer mattresses. It was a bit of a middle ground. I just thought, wow, okay, a bit more give at the shoulder, make it, you know, even more preferable to me. They also have handles on the bottom, which I find very useful when you're slapping your mattress about. You grab it by the sides if you don't have handles, and you will pull chunks of foam off. So I wanted to give it a try and also to see if there was any difference in the foams. Now I have to say straight off the bat, 2018 version is softer than the 2017 version. However, there's good and bad depending on your own preferences. I just want to point out, and I'll come to it later, the 2018 version is softer than the 2017 version. If you found the 2017 Casper a little bit only just on the firm side, you may well really like the 2018 Casper. Just again, quick overview of who are Casper. Casper are one of the biggest online mattress companies. Started off in 2014, started by Gabriel Flatman, Philip Krim, Neil Parrick, Luke Sherwin and Jeff Chapin. So 5 co-founders, started in 2014. It's an American company, still in all over the world. Came to the UK in 2016. Now, something I have to point out straight away. As with all my mattresses, they are the UK versions. Some mattresses are the same wherever you buy. Casper is very different wherever you buy and has evolved from 2014 fundamentally in many ways, not least it starting off as a latex mattress. Pointing it out because when you are reading reviews, whether it's an online website or it's just a personal review on their website, look at the year, look at the region it was, because they have evolved very differently since then. Even across Europe, you can still get a latex topped Casper. In Germany, for instance. But in the UK, it's what they call open cell, which is of course high density polyfoam. It's zoned different in the UK. It's zoned by castellating the base layer, by cutting channels out. In the US, it's zoned by the transition layer, so the third layer down of the 4 layers is actually different foams along the length. And that's how they smooth out the differences between hips and shoulders, which is the better way to do it. You're not losing density by cutting channels out and weakening the foam, which is what you do when you do it in the base layer. The feel is going to be very different depending on your region and the year that it was made. So this is UK version 2018. substantially different from the UK version 2017. That's how careful you've got to be when reading reviews and comparing across regions. So it is, of course, a bed in a box. Comes in a box like this. It will come vacuum packed. I did my unboxing video where you can see it. You take off the plastic wrapping, cut it away, and it will expand very, very, very quickly. You will notice a smell, which is the off-gassing. The smell on the off-gassing on the Casper 2018 was stronger than the 2017. It's just starting to subside 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I think. You know, it is easing off, but it did go on longer. There was almost no smell on my original Casper, whereas there was definitely a strong smell on the Casper 2018, which is now easing off. It's a 100-night trial. If you don't like it, you can send it back free of charge. They will pick it up within that 100 nights. It's a 10-year warranty, as they all are. With these particular online companies, you can get longer warranties, but it's very, very normal now. 100-night trial, 10-year warranty, but beware, the warranty is highly restrictive and it really only covers real manufacturing defects. So for instance, it will only cover indentations greater than 2.5 centimeters that are not associated with an indentation or sag, which results from the improper use, such as an unsupportive bed. So 2.5 centimeters sag or less isn't even covered by warranty. Not just Casper, you'll find this is the same with all of them. You know, any sag is a problem. So 10-year warranty, but not a sag that's less than 2.5 centimeters, which of course is an issue. However, having said that, if you get that pretty soon in the first few months, you should find that it's going to get replaced. However, be aware that their warranty terms may say otherwise. They also say doesn't cover normal increase in softness of the foam, pressure relieving material, which does not affect the pressure relieving qualities of the mattress. So it's really subjective there. So they're already pointing out, as is the case, all foam mattresses will start softening up from the moment you lay on them. Because of the compression, decompression, they will start softening up. That's why I always say better to get a mattress that's a bit firmer than a bit softer, because that bit firmer will end up being quite nice a few months down the road. But they're recognizing it's going to soften up, and they're saying it's no good coming to us and saying it's become soft on day one. You should expect that. Not just Casper, going to point out it's all of them. It's just that they all have these headline 10-year warranties, but they are highly restrictive. I'm not saying you can't claim them, of course you can claim them, but a lot of these points you'll have to argue quite strongly, unless it's an in-your-face manufacturing defect. So that was a quick overview. Well, quick for me. People are complaining, get to the point. But to me it's important, understand who you're dealing with. But it's for me if I'm buying. I think it should be for everyone. However, I will continue to point out the background to these companies. I think is important. Can I get on now to talking about the mattress as it is in 2018, this latest version? Just to point out, it's got 4 layers and it's very normal. You know, I know some of them got springs and then 3 layers, but it's very normal to have 3 foam layers. I'm not saying that's how you make a mattress. You can make a mattress with a single layer of foam, especially if it's latex. However, the point being, it's very normal with all these companies that we talk about at Casper, you know, all the ones that are marketing strongly online, they will have 3 layers of foam, even if they have other things. But Casper have 4, so they normally have the soft top layer, normally polyfoam. Sometimes it's memory foam on top, and if it's not memory foam on top, it's the memory foam on the second layer, and then the firm base layer. Casper is different because between that base layer and that second layer, they have an in-between layer. Bear in mind, the base layer is always very firm. It's only there for support. And so their base layer is a little bit shallower, and they have an extra piece of foam in there, which I find works really well. But it's not the classic 3-layer configuration, which we've come to know. It's 4. That's one of the things that makes Casper a little bit different. Their transition layer, which they didn't always have. They put it in after complaints of heavy people sinking straight into the base layer and finding it very firm and uncomfortable. As I said, it has continually evolved, Casper, very different year to year, region to region. Changed me top. I was absolutely drenched. I've had to change my top. The Casper cover. So the cover looks the same as 2017. I can tell you it feels thinner. Feels thinner than the 2017 version. However, it's a heavyweight. 2.5 kilos, incredibly, for the single. That's a heavyweight cover. Doesn't feel too heavy, but it feels light to the touch. It's slightly quilted. Now it's 99% polyester, 1% elastane, which means the elastane lycra means it's quite stretchy. It's not over stretchy. It's pretty typical of the covers you get on all these mattresses, including the bland white, the bland grey. You've got your Casper logo, your one bit of decorative branding. On the bottom you've got your handles. So this is one of the innovations for the 2018 Casper. They've added handles, which are useful. I'd like them on the side as well. However, they are useful when you're trying to carry your mattress around, especially if you've got a double Super King. I don't know why they didn't all have them from the start. Yeah, the notable thing is that, according to the website, this is a washable cover. But when you look at the label, it says it's not washable. I'm just putting it out there because I'm not sure if that's really, and a lot of them are not washable because these covers are fire retardant and it can change the fire retardant properties. However, some of them outrightly say, yes, you can wash it, no problem. However, it would have been great if it was definitely machine washable because the top is removable without having to move the mattress at all. Whereas a lot of them unzip from the bottom, incredibly. This is a two-piece. The top separately comes right away from the rest of the mattress, and as you see, it just unzips from the top. So if you actually wanted to wash it or take it off for easy spot cleaning or a hand wash or whatever you're going to do with it, it's very easy. So handles at the bottom, removable from just the top zip for the top cover. Great. If it was definitely machine washable, it would have been even better. But yeah, I mean, it's not my idea of, the greatest cover, because I find these thicker ones, don't allow. I know they say they're breathable, and the specs will say, it allows for air cooling, but I prefer something slightly thinner. I have to say this is a high quality cover. It's 2.5 kilos, so I'm not arguing about the quality of their cover. I'm just saying my personal preference is something maybe a little bit thinner, and it does feel thinner than the previous one, I have to say, which I was happy with. So your place main takes choice. Now the obvious question is it comfortable? What's it like? And I'm going to keep repeating, I can't tell you if this mattress is going to be comfortable to you. I can't tell you if this mattress is suitable to you. I can tell you relatively how this compares to other mattresses that I have tried. Got to keep stressing because the industry itself doesn't really make it clear that if I say a mattress is firm and you're twice my weight, it's a soft mattress to you. I sleep on back and side. If you sleep on your front and I say this mattress is comfortable, but it's a bit on the soft side for me, even though it's comfortable, it's going to be awful for you sleeping on your stomach, especially if you're heavier than me, because you're going to sink right in. So you're going to need different properties depending on your sleeping position as well as your weight and everything else. I can say that I'm quite average and a side sleeper and a back sleeper. So I'll tell you how this feels to me. And I find it comfortable. I don't find it as comfortable. Now, I don't find firm mattresses comfortable. Let me start by saying that. But I find them good for my back. So I have to find a happy medium. I can sleep happily without a topper on the Casper and not have back issues. So Casper is softer than the Casper I was used to, the 2017 version. I do find it now in line in terms of firmness with Simba, Leesa and Emma, but I find it has better spot relief. In other words, less foam is affected for the areas that you push down, but that is at particular weight. Now, because the layers are different, for instance, because the base layer is smaller on the Casper, heavier people will hit that base layer earlier on some of those other mattresses. So although I'm saying Casper is in line with those feels, heavier people will probably find Casper softer than the others because there's less of the base layer on this, which is the firmest part. I did have someone on the comments which surprised me say that he was a 10 stone, so 3 stone lighter than me. He tried this Casper and the current Leesa, and he found Leesa filled in his lumbar region. In other words, the spot relief, what I call spot relief, was better on the Leesa as a lighter person. Now that surprised me because when I test this with weights, I find it better than Leesa. Leesa has a very soft top layer. In theory, it shouldn't have great lumbar supporting abilities because a lot of that foam is going to be pushed down. So I'm putting it out there because that runs contrary to what I would have said. So that's some feedback I had recently, but I would have said the opposite. And maybe that's particularly for someone who's lighter, who's not hitting the base, the base layer really on the Leesa, whereas you probably hit the transition layer, which is a firmer layer, on the Casper. So maybe that affects it. I'll have to do more testing with more variety of weights, but I do 20, 30, 40 kilo weights. So I just want to point out if I hadn't heard that, I would have said that it had some of the best all-round properties of any mattress I've tried, in terms of all the softer mattresses having the best spot relief, best point elasticity, less foam is affected outside of that area that has been pushed down than any of the softer mattresses. Firmer mattresses, of course, are going to be better, but not as much as you might expect. So I would have said this has been the best all-round mattress. Now, I did find it's slightly elastic. It has a lot of bounce for a mattress on the soft side. It has the same amount of bounce as the original Casper, even though it's softer, which is, is good going. But when you're laying on it, that means you're still getting quite a bit of pushback that you're not getting from other softer mattresses. So it's gonna feel a bit firmer to you. So although the real firmness and now how much foam is giving for a given weight will be the same across those mattresses, there's a bit more pushback from Casper. So perceived firmness will be a little bit more. So there's that anomaly between what the guy was saying who's actually tried one. I've tried them both. I don't find that, I have to say. So I do think this may be one of the best all-round mattresses that I have tried so far. Not saying this is something I'd sleep on long term. Doesn't quite have enough firmness now for me long term, but I could still happily sleep on it. But I think I would prefer the firmer Casper and that Casper with a topper. Just to quickly show you the layers, explain to you exactly what is going on with Casper. So we'll take the top cover off.
The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been on.
So those are the 4 layers. Quickly show you how responsive it is. It's a polyfoam top layer. It's going to be in line with the other mattresses, more or less. So 16 kilo weight there. I take it off, it's right back. There's no issue. However, if you could see what the memory foam layer was doing, which is just under it, it would be responding slower, but you don't get a sense of that because it's the top layer springing right back. However, when you've been laying on it some time and that memory foam layer is compressing and then you move, there will be a little delay. You won't feel it like a top layer with an obvious dip, but it's still doing what memory foam does under there. So what have we got? It's officially 24 centimeters high, which is exactly what mine is. The top layer is officially 4 centimeters. Mine is 4 centimeters. My second layer is 3.75 centimeters. My transition layer, 3.75. And my base layer, 12.5. So that's 24 centimeters. There is a question on the densities of the mattress. Now I have to say, I've weighed it, it's 18 kilo. That's about an average density of around 42 kilos, in line with the likes of Leesa and Simba and all the others in terms of the actual foam. Obviously, you've also got springs on Simba. It works out a little bit more than the specs are given. Now, they used to say the top layer was 56 kilo per cubic meter. Then the bottom was 28 kilos per cubic meter. That was 40 kilos. And I think they memory foam used to spec at 64 kilos. How? They're now telling me 49 kilos per cubic meter, 48 kilos per cubic meter memory foam, transition layer 49 kilos per cubic meter, and the base layer 33 kilos per cubic meter. However, that adds up to about 17 kilo. That's a big difference. So my specs, my weight says is actually a little bit better. It's possible that the top layer is still 56 kilos per cubic meter, not the 49, which is a bit of a funny figure, isn't it? However, overall the densities are clearly fine. Just a question of what is the memory foam and what is that top layer. So it can safely say it's 50 kilo, it may be a little bit better, or maybe the memory foam is still 64 kilos per cubic meter. However, it would work out just about 18 kilos if this was the old spec at what they used to say, 56 kilos per cubic meter. I'm not quite sure they really know. I think the online chat is anyways in Germany, so I don't know if they're talking about the German mattress. Other than say, there's a little bit of a question mark what the densities are, but the densities are clearly fine. This weighs 18 kilo, which is a decent average density. However, you know, the top couple of layers, actually you prefer to be on the higher than average side, because it's the top layers that get the most decompression, compression. They were the ones that soften up. The ones where it's mentioned in the warranty, it's going to soften up. They are the layers that are going to do that. About 50 kilos per cubic meter for the top polyfoam layer, which they call open cell. You've got memory foam, obviously is the slow responding layer. And I hope you can see how much slower. If I do the top layer, boom, straight back. But the second layer, very memory foam like, especially as it is, of course, memory foam. And then you've got your transition layer. So it should be in between that and the firm base layer. So it's not that firm, the base layer, but it's certainly firmish. But in terms of, you see it's clearly polyfoam, it comes straight out. I'm just to the finger, it's certainly firmer than the top one and softer than that. So yeah, it does exactly what their transition layer is meant to do, and graduate the feel from a comfort soft layer to a very firm base layer. And of course, then you've got your zoning on the shoulder, which is here. And as you can see, unlike all the others, it's not zoned in the middle, which for me on paper was perfect if it had still been the firmer Casper, but it's not. You can see what I mean, it's weakening the foam by doing that. That's what most of them do, but it's the cheaper way of doing it. So you've got less density there, less foam, you weaken the material, but of course you get more give. Just to demonstrate you've got more give, I put 10 kilos there, and then I put 10 kilos there, and I show you the bottom of that weight. It's clearly sinking lower than the middle. So, you know, it clearly works. You clearly more give at the shoulder. In actual use, while you're sleeping on it, it's subtle. It makes, give you the impression that it's going to be, oh, almost no pushback, but there is a strong pushback on this mattress. You're still going to get pressure on the shoulder. However, the zoning works, and that's an improvement if you are a side sleeper on the older Casper. So zoning and it's softer, but still supportive, still with the spring back. You know, I think it's a pretty decent mattress. I can't tell you about the longevity, but it's probably going to be in line with the others. In terms of smell, yeah, I mean, there is still a smell there. It's been going down over the 2 to 3 weeks I've been sleeping on it, but I have to say it's still there. My original Casper almost had no smell from the beginning. This certainly is a smelly mattress to start off with. In terms of edge support, being a softer mattress, it's slightly worse than the older Casper, but it's in line with the softer mattresses such as the Simba and the Leesa, and indeed the Emma. So, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with whether it's a softer or firmer mattress. So the edge support is exactly what you expect, but it's going to give. If you're on the end of it, it's going to give. And of course, you've got less of the base layer on this one compared to the others because of the transition layer, so it's going to be maybe slightly worse, but you're not going to roll off. So although they're not, on all these mattresses I tried, you know, the edge support is not great, but you're never going to roll off. People talk about the roll off effect, which is, you know, you're going to get that with, if springs go right to the end, but with none of these foam mattresses, it's going to, you know, it's going to dip, but it's not going to roll you off if that's what you might be expecting from the way people talk about the roll off effect. As I said, firmness in line with Leesa, Emma, Simba, but there's more of a pushback. It's quite an elastic feel, so it may feel firmer to you. So if you outrightly want a softer mattress, maybe Simba, Leesa are still the choices. Emma has springs and also has a bit of a pushback. It's going to be softer than Eve and Bruno and indeed Otti. In terms, as I said, the spot relief, which I thought was excellent for a soft mattress until this guy said, you know, he found the opposite. So I'm not sure. Maybe Leesa has changed since the Leesa that I tried, which was only last year. But it's possible these, you know, these foams change all the time. So maybe I'll have to try another Leesa. But in terms outright spot relief, definitely I got, you know, I would have said better than Simba, better than Leesa, better than Otti, but it can't match the firmer mattresses, you know, like Otti and Eve and the rest. In terms of bounce, I found it exactly the same as the older Casper, which amazed me for the softer mattress. It shows that there's probably, although it's softer, it's a springier mattress, and it's evening out the loss in bounce. So it mainly makes Casper a good all-rounder. More bounce, you know, a little more bounce than Simba and Leesa, around the same as Emma, but don't get Emma's got those springs, even in line with the firmer Eve. So good mattress for sex, I have to say, comfort and bounce. Now, motion transfer wasn't the best on this. Motion transfer really only behind the Bruno. So that's the downside of, you know, being springier and bouncier. There is more. Now that's not to say, oh, you're going to feel every piece of movement. I will demonstrate, you know, that that's not the case. So, you know, clear movement close to it, but it's not terrible, and the bottles still don't fall over. So, you know, in line with foam mattresses, very good for motion transfer, but comparative to the others, it's a little bit behind the other foam mattresses, and I guess that's the downside, as I said, of the springiness and the bounciness. Show you what I mean by the spot relief, what I think is pretty good for this mattress. 30 kilos of weight. You can see where the dip actually starts. It's only affecting foam out to here. That's with 30 kilos pressed in one place. And really, there's no significant dip from like here onwards. There's a slight dip there. So it's like 8 centimeters out. That is very good. And so that's why I was surprised when I got that feedback, because until then I would have said it was great. So still, I'm gonna say this is a great all-round mattress. It's a great starting point if you're not quite sure if you want firm or soft or what. In terms of cooling, they've done nothing special to alleviate heating problems. However, it's not memory foam, it's polyfoam, so it's not going to be as good as latex, but it's certainly not going to have the memory foam heat issues. It's polyfoam. But of course, Simba would be preferable because it's got latex on top, and Leesa would be preferable because it's aerated, it's got holes across that top layer. Otti have channels through their memory foam as well, they've got air all around. So there are other options for polyfoam, latex, even memory foam, if heat retention is an issue, but as far as foam goes, it wouldn't be a problem. Now, some people have heat issues with foam altogether. That's something different, but in terms relative between foam mattresses, it's going to be better than all your memory foam mattresses, but there's no holes, there's nothing to alleviate, to help air flow through the mattress. Pricing, Casper is priced really good. Well, I have it rated number 2 by adding up all their prices for all their mattresses, working out the average. So on average, across the line, with all the other mattresses I've tried, they come out second. Otti is the cheapest and Simba is the most expensive. However, there's not a huge amount between the lot. On average, Simba is 620, Casper 543. So it's not a deal breaker, but every penny counts at the end of the day. So to sum up, you know, it's not the best in any one thing. It's a jack of all trades. It's a good all-rounder. It's a good starting point for a mattress if you're not quite sure what you want, but you can get bouncier. You can get more supportive. You can get softer. You can get cooler sleeping mattresses. So on all the areas you judge a mattress, you can do better. But it's got the best balance, I would say, of qualities of the mattresses I've tried. Still not saying it's the most comfortable. There's the one thing a lot of people seem to want to hear, is it comfortable? And it's probably the most ineffective piece of advice I can tell you whether it's comfortable or not. I can tell you, Leesa is the most comfortable I've ever had. Doesn't make it a mattress I can sleep on long term because I don't get the support in my lower back. It's good for side sleepers because at the end of the day, everybody is different. So I can guide you to relative differences between the mattresses. I can tell you good starting points and, you know, at certain weights what would maybe help you. But everybody is different. Every mattress you can find somebody who says it's too firm or too soft. I deliberately do not say this is the best mattress or not. I don't say it's the best buy and things like that, which you sometimes see, because I don't think you can say that. You can say a mattress is great because the materials are fantastic and it's great long term. It won't, you know, it won't soften up too quick like the others, and in that sense you can say the difference. However, it's hard to say that about these mattresses because most of them are new to the market, and even if they're not new to the market, they keep changing over time anyway. And quite honestly, at this sector, in this part of the market, they're all much of a likeness. You know, okay, so some layers may be more dense than others, but there's not a lot in it. So I can't really say, I wouldn't want to say that one is way better. I can say, you know, Bruno, you know, like 25% more density than any other mattress. If I had to put my head on the chopping block and say which one is going to last me longer before it becomes too uncomfortable, change too much, I would say on paper Bruno, going by the average density, which is way higher on Bruno, but very, very firm, very, very bouncy, a very niche mattress, probably only really maybe suiting heavier people. But you may find different. You may be very light and want a very, very, very firm mattress, very, very bouncy, and absolutely love Bruno. It's just that it's basically 2 layers with a very thin latex layer on top, lovely for cooling, and then 48 kilos average base. Well, it's the only other layer, so you've got a high overall density. So on paper, probably the best longevity there, but I can't tell you what's going to be the best, most suitable to you. There's nobody can tell you, oh, this is the world's most comfortable mattress, because it's going to be different for everybody. So that's my summing up. Just quickly, side by side, give you a quick comparison with the Old Casper. New Casper 2018, Old Casper 2017. 20 kilo, 20 kilo. Just going to demonstrate how the newer Casper, although nobody would say anything to indicate so, is considerably softer than the older Caspers. If I measure on the new Casper, how much of that weight is still above the surface? Almost nothing is above the surface. There's only 1 centimetre above the surface. And on the older Casper, I do that because then it's, even with the sides, that's exactly where flat plane is. So that was 1 centimetre above. And this is 2 centimetres above, which means that is sinking in by 1 centimetre more, the newer Casper. So it's considerably softer. I mean, also we sold 400,000 mattresses, and they're all, you know, give you the impression they're all the same, and you look at the reviews, and then maybe from last year, and they'll talk about its firmness and whatever. Well, actually, on the newer one, where they've got the handles on the bottom, where it's got zoning, don't forget it hasn't got zoning in the middle, and it's still considerably softer than the older Casper, which now, well, I said it used to be middle ground between softer and firmer mattresses. It's now in line with the Simba and the Leesa and the Emma. And the properties will be different, but it's one of the softer mattresses. I still think it's one of the best all-round mattresses. It's a good starting point. And I still think Leesa is the most comfortable I've tried. But the supportive mattresses are going to be the firmer mattresses. Last year's Casper, quite comfortable, but a little bit on the firm side for me, but I can feel my lumbar region. We call it supportive. Good spot relief. Reasonable amount of bounce. The motion transfer was better, which surprises me on the older one. But then I go and sit on lay on the newer one. Oh, that is nice and soft. My initial impression is, oh yeah, I prefer that. However, after a night's sleep, I would say it's a little bit too soft, in line with the other mattresses that are like that. But I still think it's a good mattress. But it's on the softer side. Very different from the other one, but however, it's still got the bounce. But you sink in more. There's more of an obvious sink, but a little bit too much. I'm sinking a little bit too much. But, you know, it starts being what you call comfortable, because you start sinking in, it's contouring around you. It's nice. So just showing you, they are very different mattresses, the older and the newer one. The older one, if you prefer a firmer mattress, the newer one if you prefer softer mattresses, but it's still probably a little bit firmer, although it's still in line, but because of the other properties, it's a little bit firmer than Leesa, Simba, Emma. Well, Emma's also got the pushback and the springiness, so maybe I would say the Emma and Casper are in line. I think I'll just quickly demonstrate, because the guy was talking about, John, I think his name was, so hello John. Going to try side by side the Leesa and the Casper, just to see if I can see what he was saying. Leesa. Not quite got the bounce of the Casper, but very, very similar. So, you know, I still stand by what I said. On my Leesa, it may be the newer Leesas, again, are different. I think the newer Casper fills out my lumbar region more. In fact, that's definite. So, it is possible, you know, Leesa again have gone to a softer mattress. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask them if I could try one. I don't know. They did give me that one for free. I should have said that at the beginning. Well, I couldn't say at the beginning. I didn't know I was going to do the comparison. But however, Leesa sent me this one for £1, just on the basis that I would use it for comparison videos, and they've had no input into what I can do or say about the mattress. Just putting it out there. In fact, if anything, this Casper feels softer. So maybe they've changed their mattress. But I can only say between my Leesa and my new Casper, I think Casper fills out my lumbar region more. I think the spot relief, I stand by what my measurement said. It's the point elasticity is better on the Casper. It's still a very comfortable mattress on the Leesa. I can happily spend a night. It's just that the support isn't there. It doesn't fill out my lumbar region the way I would want it to. So that wraps up my video. I always said Casper was firmer than Leesa, Simba and Emma, and now I'm saying it's about the same feel. So if you're looking for a mattress with that kind of feel, that's an extra one in the mixing pot. And for the firmer ones, well, it takes it out as an option unless you find one of the older versions on eBay or something. So thank you for watching. UK